Hey everyone, I'm here with Maddie Millar. And Maddie, thank you for taking the time to do this. Committed to
Course.
UNF and Bishop Kenny girls basketball start. You're one of the best 3-point shooters in the nation. We'll get to that soon. But first off, this all had to start somewhere. What led you to start playing basketball and stick with it afterwards?
I think from a young age, my mom played college basketball, and so ever since I was little, like she would take me out on the driveway and play, and then I would play basketball with the boys, and then I started playing like in a YMCA league with all the boys, and I just fell in love with it. And then in about middle school, I figured, oh, I'm pretty good at this, and so we really got on it. And so my mom was basically my trainer. So yeah.
Yeah, and in middle school, I mean, you had to figure you were pretty good. You had college programs watching you. In
Yeah.
your interview, UNF approached you when you were in eighth grade. I mean, that there had to be some pressure behind that. How do you handle that at such a young age?
Yeah, the pressure definitely increased as I got older. When I was younger, I didn't really think too much about it. I was just worried about playing and like I was still young and just having fun.
Mhm.
So the pressure wasn't that bad in the beginning, but
As you get going as a recruit, you probably start to think about that more and more, and
yeah,
those big programs there. And you're already playing for Bishop Kenny, which is one of the pristine programs in the state, in the nation almost. I mean, you guys, ever since you got there, made the state finals every year.
yeah,
And as a freshman, what allowed you to settle in there quick and you averaged 14 a game, making that big of an impact?
yeah. My freshman year was amazing. I think the leadership that was on the team really allowed me to just like feel welcome and like at play, like at home. I was able to play the way I was used to, and I was put in really good positions to score. And my freshman year, no one really knew about my shooting abilities. So then the following year, then I would have people face guarding me and things like that. But my freshman year was a lot of fun.
Yeah, and Jasmine Roberts, I've had her on the podcast here, and she actually interviewed you for First Coast News when you announced your commitment.
Yeah,
She was the one who was first place on that team, sophomore, and I think you mentioned there you played with her for a long time. Can you talk
yeah.
about having her there playing high school basketball with you and what your relationship is like?
Yeah, it's really special because me and Jazz, we have known each other since we were little. We played against each other in the boys' league, and so we were the only two girls. And so in middle school, we were rivals. We didn't like each other. We weren't friends. And then I went to BK, and then there was the news that she was transferring, and I was like, oh God. But then it was really good. We have a really like strong connection on the floor. And so we were able to feed each other, and like where my weaknesses were her strength, it really played to our advantage because if teams wanted to like suck in on me out on the 3-point line, it opened up the lane for her to drive. So it was really cool to play with her for 2 3 years 3 years. So yeah.
Yeah, and it's gonna be a whole come full circle next year. You guys are facing Miami. You're gonna face off against Jasmine with your former head coach on your
Yeah.
coaching staff. That's gonna be amazing to watch, and I'm sure everyone's gonna be all eyes on that. But I mean, you're gonna be rivals again. Playing in college. I'm sure you're looking forward to that.
Yeah, it should be fun.
Yeah, and then let's see. You're not. I mentioned your 3-point shooting earlier. You're best in the state according to the stats, and after seeing you play, no argument to that. You're one of the top shooters in the country, and I was just wondering how that 3-point shot for you has developed over time.
Yeah, I would say this year, like this is the best my shot has ever felt. I've really been consistent. Every day I stay after or go before or do whatever needs to be done. Me and my mom just get in extra reps. But my shot is something that I'm very, very comfortable with and like spend a lot of time trying to perfect. And so like today after practice, part of my after practice routine, I guess, is like I go 7 spots and I have to go 20, and 3 is the maximum number of misses I can make. And if I go over that, then I have to redo it. So like just perfecting the little details and really locking in. So hopefully like it prepares me in the long run, which it has. So yeah.
If I ever do that, I'm lucky if I miss 10. But you've been mentioning your mom a lot, and for good reason. She coaches you there at Bishop Kenny. I moved here from Iowa, and the head coach at the first school I called basketball for was TJ Case, and his daughter was on the team, won a state championship together. Really cool to see that firsthand. You're doing it here with your mom on the coaching staff.
Yeah.
What's it like to have her there on the sideline, in high school basketball? And then how has she helped you out in this recruiting process as well?
Yeah, it's a battle. There's good days and bad days because we're both super competitive and like we just go at each other. But it's a very loving relationship. When we're in the gym, I have to tell people I'm like, she's not my mom in the gym because like we'll go at it or like we'll argue. Oh my gosh, I'm like no, like we're completely used to it. But it's been really nice to have her over on the sidelines this year because in the past year she was an assistant coach, she was a practice coach, but she was never on the bench. So this year, having her on the bench and just looking over at her, and if she gives me a little bit of correction or just having her there, knowing that I can go to her and like at halftime, just be like, hey, what do I need to do better? Things like that. She's really helped me. And the rest of my teammates love her. And so they love having her there too. But in the recruiting process, she's definitely helped me. Like um, she keeps not my head level, but like always just like tries to give her input, which I really, really appreciate because I trust her. And so she tries to tell me like how she sees things and like what the in and outs are, I guess I would say.
She's been there before, gone through it.
Yeah. And so she just gives me some little bits of pieces of advice and like what she would do. But I mean, she's always been like, I'm not gonna tell you where to go, where to be, anything to do with college because that's your decision. But she was very helpful throughout my recruiting process.
Yeah, and you're a senior on the team this year. You mentioned during your freshman year how big those leaders were on the team for you. And you got a fairly young team as well this
Yeah.
season. Can you talk about what it's been like to transition into kind of a leadership role and help guiding younger girls on the team to success in the future?
Yeah, I mean, I've always been a pretty vocal person. Like from my freshman year, people would make jokes like Maddie's always been our captain all 4 years. But I think just having great leaders come before me and recognizing like the way our program is ran and like the culture and everything like that. Like I've really wanted to make sure it stayed the same. Like even though our coach left and everything like that, I wanted to make sure Bishop Kenny girls basketball still stayed the same, still had the same reputation. And so I've really tried to be a great leader for the younger ones, especially because we have, like you said, a super young team. And so whereas like I'm playing for my fourth district championship, some of them have never been in that position, even some of our transfers. And
Mhm.
so the nerves that they have, I just try to like calm them down and be like, hey, it's okay. Like you guys got it. And like just tell them to focus on one certain thing instead of stressing themselves out. So I think me being in those positions that they haven't yet has helped them when I'm telling them what to do or things like that. So
Yeah, and I mean, you mentioned being in those places before you made the state semifinals. Each of the first years, now you're fourth. You're finally there again. And I'm
yep.
not sure if this video will be out, before or after this next game, but what is it going to take this time to get past this Final Four and just bring a championship home to
Yeah,
Jackson?
I mean, it's super exciting. I think this year, like this is the year I want to like this would be the best year to win a state championship. Senior year, go out with a bang. But we faced Cavalry Christian in the semifinals. And so last year we had to play Lake Highland Prep in the semifinals, which really killed us because that was basically both of our state championship game. Their coach even acknowledged that.
Mhm.
And so I think this year we just have to really lock in. I think in a sense, me being there before and then having the younger ones is going to help us because they don't really know what to expect. And so I think that'll be a good thing because we have our chemistry and our personality of this team is very unique and funny. And so I think it'll be like just fine. But I think if we advance past Cavalry Christian, I think this is the best year to beat Lake Highland Prep.
Mhm.
So
Yeah, are they still in it as well? You're gonna see them again, possibly?
Lake Highland, yes, Lake Highland Prep, they are the 1 seed, we're the 2 seed. And so they'll 100% win their playoff semifinal game. And then if we win, we'll have to play them in for the state championship game again. So
All right, so seeing them again, there's got to be some bad blood at this point. That's 2 straight years they've knocked you out.
yeah, I
This
mean,
third time around.
yeah, it just makes you want to throw up a little bit. But no, there's not really any bad blood. It's just the competitiveness, I think, and just hating to lose because
Mhm.
this is it. This is it for the seniors, and like it's just gonna. We would rather go out with a bang instead of just be miserable and just in tears. Um, so I don't know. I think they might be the weakest they've ever been this year. Without their point guard, she tore her ACL, and then
Oh,
Kim Blackshear, their post from last year, she graduated. Um, and so, I mean, they still have their solid defenders. They're really good defenders that have caused us trouble every single year. But I think we can work past it. So
yeah. And back now to the recruiting process, which we mentioned earlier. COVID really hit hard to a lot of recruits. You were a Power Five prospect with offers from Big Ten, ACC, and then eventually with the transfer portal and players coming back, that forced some of those opportunities away. Can you talk about that experience as a recruit? And I'm sure many around the country in your class and the class before can relate to this as well.
yeah, I mean, it was definitely tough. COVID threw everything off. Didn't really expect it, and so a lot of recruits were scrambling. But I mean, it was just very different. It was no one had ever thought this could happen.
Mhm.
So just took everyone by surprise and caught everyone off guard, I think.
And it could end up being, a bit of a blessing in disguise, especially for looking at a standpoint for a program like UNF. They're getting a Power Five prospect on their team next year, and you're getting to play in your hometown. Uh,
Yeah.
but I'm wondering, I mentioned earlier your former head coach on the coaching staff. Did that play a role in you committing there at all?
No, not at all. I did not know that she was going to be there actually until after I had committed. And then she told me the news that she was going to be there.
Win-win.
Yeah. So I didn't know, but yeah.
Yeah, and no, UNF, they're known for their point shooting, so you're gonna fit in there great, I'm sure. Uh,
Yeah.
but you guys, there's gonna be expectations, I'm sure, with this incoming class at UNF. You won in high school, getting to that next level, you got to be hungry to win there as well.
Yes. Yes. Incredibly.
And then, oh man, I got lost. So I've been bouncing all around my questions here. So.
Yeah, you're good.
I wanted to ask a little bit about, I told you about my little sister. That was her first high school game she'd ever been to. And now she is begging my parents to sign up for basketball next year and is shooting more in the driveway. So I'm sure as a high schooler, you're out there playing high school basketball and you get the chance to, go out and inspire younger girls like that. I'm wondering, going through all this, what would your advice be to girls in the area that want to play high school, play at the next level like you're going to do?
Yeah, I would say don't take anything for granted and to work as hard as you can. Like, there's so many girls out there. I would say not to stay in the bubble either. Like, so many girls in Jacksonville think that they're really good, but then they've never been on an AAU circuit or somewhere bigger where there's tons more talent and there's a lot of girls better than them. And so then they're shocked. And so, like, to expand and like have contacts, play on a good AAU team. I mean, just working really hard and perfecting your craft is the main thing though. Like, that's huge. I think that's what's helped me grow and become a good player is just staying in the gym and just working on anything that I can to make my game better.
All right. And I got some would you rather questions here to finish out the interview. One's going to be about on the court, the other two get to know you a bit off of it.
Okay.
So, first off, Would you rather spend a day with Steph Curry, get to talk basketball, do whatever you want, or win a state championship?
Win a state championship.
You sure?
Yep, I would want to win a state championship more than anything.
All right. And then this one, completely hypothetical here. Would you rather be able to fly or communicate with any living thing?
Oh, I'm gonna say communicate with any living thing. I think that'd be so interesting.
And you still have the ability to fly too, just not on your own. Um, and would you rather be able to eat? I mean, would you rather eat Italian or Mexican food?
Italian.
All right. No Mexican food answers ever on this podcast now. So
Yeah,
I thought
probably.
that question always gets a little bit of hesitation, but in the end, it's Italian every time.
Yeah, I gotta go with spaghetti and meatballs.
No doubt, no doubt. Well, I appreciate you taking the time to do this, Maddie. I had a great time getting to talk with you.
Yeah, of course. Thank you for having me.
Thank you guys for listening to today's episode of Schlick Sports Made in the River City. If you enjoyed, be sure to like and subscribe. If you're watching on YouTube, if you're listening on a podcast platform, be sure to follow Schlick Sports Made in the River City, leave a good review, and share with your friends. But for now, I'm signing off. See you next week here in the River City.